Latina with all of you. I met Hillary Stern back in 2004 during another bus ride, and I met Steve Williamson back there from the FCW 21. Also on the same bus ride, it was the Immigrant Workers Freedom Ride. This was in 2004. But I didn't go back then. I wasn't ready. I was too afraid. But I'm ready now. And while I still may be a little bit afraid, I no longer let fear rule my life. Although it ties up my tongue. So I'm a little bit late to the bus, but I'm here. On the way up from Vancouver. On the way up from Vancouver just now, we told our stories on the bus. So in listening to them, we see our connections that we have to one another as human beings. It's not just me, it's not just my family, it's all of us, it's our families. I carry those stories with me. So, this is my story. It's a hard thing to walk away from your loved ones and not being sure when or if you'll see them again. It's also hard, I think, to imagine that anything is seriously wrong right now with my situation, because after all, I'm standing right here in front of you. Yes, I was forced to leave because my visa expired, but I'm back now, so what's the problem? I've put it out of my mind what it felt like to leave the country, because who wants to live with that kind of pain? But I see the importance of recalling the air that suddenly pressed on top of me, how it wouldn't enter my lungs, it's hard to breathe. The inability to stand or to speak. Having to close my eyes because if I opened them, the dizziness would make me collapse. So all of this happened back in 2007. My work visa had expired, and in order to qualify for another work visa, I needed to leave the country and not re-enter for a full year. The thing is there was no guarantee that I would be able to re-enter after that year was over. So that meant that I had to leave my partner Ken, the life that we had built together, which I think at that point was 6 years. I had to leave my community, I had to leave my home, without knowing for certain that I would see any of it again. It's a terrible thing. So at this point in my life, I've spent almost 24 years in this country. I turned 41 this July, and it's kind of hard to believe because I look so young. Maybe. I spent over half my life in this country on some kind of temporary status without any kind of permanent pathway to citizenship. I've spent over 24 years working, learning, feeling like I could come out of the closet, falling in love, and I'm not able to stay. So we passed marriage equality. Thank you everybody who voted for it in Washington State. I love you guys. I would marry all of you. But
yeah, next year.
So even though we have marriage equality in Washington State, should my partner Ken and I decide to get married, immigration is a federal right, which means that it doesn't make a difference. He can't sponsor me to stay in the country. So while I have a brother and a sister who both moved to this country as well, they fell in love with a U.S. citizen. Their spouse was able to sponsor them to stay, and my partner can't sponsor me to stay because our immigration laws do not recognize same-sex couples. So I'm here to speak up for LGBT families, and thank you for everybody holding up those signs, hold them up high, that common sense immigration reform has to include LGBT families. It has to include mixed status families. It has to include all 11 million undocumented people in this country. And it has to come by March 21st in the Senate, because our families can't wait. Thank you very much.